Hey y'all, thanks for tuning back into Chickanic. I hope everybody's having a great week. It is a glorious day here in Arkansas, and I have had one exciting week, and I want to tell you all about it. I have a ton of stuff to work on today, and I want to take y'all along with me. So, I know what you're asking. How do you have a ton of stuff to work on? You don't even have a repair shop anymore. Well, I sort of do. Now, if you've been following along on my channel, you know that I had a small engine repair shop for over 12 years where my family and we would work on over 2,000 pieces of equipment every single year. Now, we closed that storefront in September. 1, because we had medical reasons. 2, because we have YouTube reasons. And 3, because we didn't own the property. We were just renting it, and it was really just time to move on. Now, the plan was to get all our stuff straight around here and eventually get another storefront. But things have sort of changed pretty recently. I was presented with 2 options. I had actually spoken with the manager of Lowe's, and they were looking for somebody to do all their warranty work. And I tossed it around a little bit and thought about it, and it would have been a steady income for me and my guys that work with me. But I've decided that I probably don't want to be roped into a contract to do repairs on things that usually are not warranty repairs. Most of the stuff that goes to Lowe's ends up being broken or burnt up. It's not really warranty stuff. So I didn't know if I really wanted to deal with all that. They pay months later and have to deal with corporate kind of stuff. So then that brings me to option number 2. Now, when we closed our repair business that we had for 12 years, the property was purchased by another company that does small engine repair and larger tractor stuff. And their intentions was to put another repair shop there. We found out recently that they decided not to do that. Now, the shop that I had is literally 5 minutes down the road from where I live and where we built this 40 by 50 shop. And I decided to go ahead, since I still have the business, I still have the Facebook page, I still have contacts with all my commercial people, with a ton of good customers that I built like really good relationships with over the last 12 years. With them having nowhere to go to have their small engine repaired, I went ahead and made a post. And in that post, I let people know that if they are in the district that I live in, I will come pick up their small engine equipment for free a couple days a week. I'm going to be doing pickup and deliveries, but I'm also going to be letting only the people that I know. I'm not letting any strangers come to my house, but only the people that I'm really tight with, that they can come and drop stuff off. I live in the county, but I live in a neighborhood, and I don't want to have that kind of traffic here. And immediately we got a bunch of phone calls. We did a bunch of pickups. We got a bunch more for next week. And it looks like this might work out. Now, guys, unfortunately, I am not a storefront, though. This is still my home. So a lot of you know the name of my business now. This is strictly repairs. We're not doing door power equipment sales. We're not selling over the counter. So this isn't a place that you can just come by. We don't ship parts. So if you have anything that you're wanting to get a hold of me for, the business and Chickanic are completely separate. You can always send me a message on Facebook or through an email, but my shop business is separate. So with that being said, let me show you what we got in. So for our first day truly being sort of back open, I guess, we picked up a customer's air compressor. They also wanted us to fix their inverter. They said this thing was running, it revved up real high, died, won't start, so that one might be scary. I think this one's just been sitting. We've got a walk-behind Husqvarna self-propelled mower that's in need of some definite servicing, TLC. It's been sitting for a while. And one of these weed eater 20-inch walk-behind push mowers. We used to tell customers you probably don't want to put money into it to fix it, but after seeing the decline of mechanics over the years and what they're doing to small engines these days, we truly believe if you have one of these, fix it. They will outlast us all if you keep it in good shape. Had a customer drop off their zero turn for service and sharpen, and we're gonna knock these out. And we picked up this Craftsman for a customer. This thing looks rough, been sitting. Don't know what's wrong with it yet. While the guys are started on that, I got my first Briggs order of the year. Now, I've been dreading it, but I've got to tackle some of this. I've got 40-year-old Macola and Tecumseh parts and Toro and Lawn Boy. I'm gonna try to get all of it stacked up on that shelf so I can get to the parts that I need. So 1 hour later, and I have been through every single box and pile of parts in here. I know where everything is, but I do not have all my 40-year-old, 30-year-old parts organized. I'm going to have to wait until I get the loft built, and I've got a ton of just, boxes of shrouds and rewinds and, tubes and stuff like that. But I've pulled out everything that I think I might use, and other than that, I've got like extremely old Briggs parts, McCullough parts, Poulan parts, a ton of old Tecumseh stuff. Whew, I can't just throw it away. I mean, some of this stuff's worth money. I guess this is going to stay the way it is now. I got 2 chainsaws in. I've got a Home Light, which this is a customer that comes in all the time with his equipment. He barely ever uses this thing. The gas that I took out of it, that's all that was in it. I think that's the gas that I put in last year whenever I worked on it. So I think this is going to be a pretty simple one. We're going to go outside and start it in just a second. And I've got a Stihl 009. These are some of the best saws ever made. He says it's very, very hard to start. It is a Stihl, but once it gets started, it runs okay, but we're going to try to see if we can tune it up a little bit. Now, when you have a chainsaw that you only use for a couple limbs once a year and you let it sit the rest of the year, you're going to have to finagle with it just a little bit to get it going again. Hopefully this will start up and we can get it to run. Now, I did just show you a video on the last one, a trick to get your 2 strokes going again, whether it's a trimmer or a blower, a hedge trimmer or something like that. If you just keep popping the choke, it'll eventually pick up and get those diaphragms pliable again. Chainsaws are a little bit harder because they're harder to work the choke sometimes while you're running it. So you just really got to keep giving it throttle to get it through and try to loosen those diaphragms up, get whatever gunk's in the carburetor out, and hopefully get you going again. We're going to try that. So I got some fresh fuel, put a new plug because his was sort of funk. Prime it up. That's what it will do. It's not getting enough fuel right now. The diaphragms are not working correctly. So I'm going to start it up again and I'm going to keep messing with it. I'm going to pull the choke out. I'm going to put the choke back in. Choke. All right, that gave it some gas. Choke in. Come on, you can do it. Now at this point, you might think that, it's going to keep dying like that. It won't. Just keep working through this. Now this saw I actually already started before that and it was worse than that and it slightly got better this time that I ran it. I'm going to do it again and see if it idles longer. Now, why am I doing this and just running it and trying to get that to loosen back up instead of just adjusting the carburetor? Because I seriously could. I could go grab my adjustment tool, I could give it the gas that it needs, and immediately it would run perfectly. But while the customer is running it at the home, those diaphragms eventually are going to loosen up. So it's going to start regulating the gas differently. So they'll just have to bring it back to me for another carburetor adjustment, and I don't want them to have to come back. So if I can just take my time getting it revved up over and over again, getting that to flush through, eventually it's going to level off the right high RPMs and idle. Now, while you're doing this, your chainsaw is not under a load, so you do not want to burn it up. What you need to do is give it full throttle at max for like 7-8 seconds and then come off of it and let it idle. See how long it idles for? Then do it again. Give it max 6, 7, 8 seconds and then bring it back down to idle. You don't want your chainsaw getting too hot since it's not under a load. So I have full confidence that I'm gonna be able to get that one going again without much repair. Customer should be happy about that low bill. Over here, Alex is tearing apart that Predator. Is that a fun one, Alex?
It's a Predator.
Yeah. If you ever take one of these to the repair shop, just know it has to be completely torn apart to get to anything, and you are going to get charged a lot.
even the rewind. Like,
yeah.
We had
just
to completely
do
this
rope.
just to take the rewind off.
Yeah, just to do a pull rope, you have to completely take apart everything. So, you know, it's not just a 1550 repair. It's like a, what's it's going to be like at least an hour and a half just to do a pull rope. I mean, it's going to take us probably 2 to 3, 4 hours to take it all apart, put it back together, but nobody's ever going to pay that. All right, it is the next day. We got to work pretty hard on everything. I filmed a video for 6 hours on that 009 that did not turn out. Tell you about that in just a minute. But I'm going to go ahead and start this home light up, and we're going to see if just running it that little bit worked yesterday. I have not started it up yet this morning. Take it off, choke. Yes, it absolutely worked. I promise you guys, I didn't adjust it at all. All you got to do is get those diaphragms to loosen back up, get that trash, whatever, to get through the carburetor, and you're good to go. He'll be able to make his couple cuts like he does every year and let it sit for another year. We got this old weed eater push going. It was pretty simple. Clean out the tank, put a new diaphragm and gasket on top of the tank between the carburetor and the gas tank. That's what goes bad on most of them. Primer bulb was still fine. Changed the air filter, serviced it out. They have a pickup tube that goes into the bottom of this, and that's what was wrong with this. It would start up and then immediately die. It wasn't getting the fuel that it needed. That pickup tube was clogged up, and there was a little bit of rust in the bottom of the tank that was sucking up into that screen. So this mower runs awesome. Let me show you. We got the Husqvarna all serviced out, ready to go. The only thing that it needs left is a self-propel cable. And guess what, guys? It's not available from my distributor. So I looked online. They're like $50, which is sort of crazy. So I'm on a search for a self-propel cable for this thing. And our customer that had the air compressor and the inverter. The air compressor just needed a good carburetor clean and service. It's good to go. The inverter, though, it's got something wrong with it internal. We took it completely apart to make sure it wasn't a rewind issue. But whenever you put any kind of strain on the rewind, you can pull it slowly, but when you go to pull it hard, it locks up. So he said that it, revved up high, died, something's wrong inside, and he is not going to want to pay us anymore to go into this further, so I'm just going to give this thing back to him. The Craftsman was able to get running with just a little spray and ended up clearing up, running pretty good. He did blow out a spindle though. The spindle, the pulley, and the blade were completely destroyed. I did have a spindle and a blade in stock, but for some reason I couldn't find a pulley, so I got them ordered. Finished up with our customer's Cub Cadet that they wanted service, sharpened, and greased. And the guy that just picked up his Homelight chainsaw bought one of my used push mowers. So that's pretty cool. Now when it comes to the 009, I filmed this thing, I'm going to say for like 6 hours yesterday for y'all, thinking I was going to get it running. I mean, I looked inside the piston cylinder with my HD Endoscope that y'all have been buying, and it looks great. I checked compression. It had 150 pounds. But when this thing came in, it came in with this tag on it. And the other shop in town, he puts these on it whenever he ends up not fixing it. Either the customer doesn't want to or it's going to cost too much. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I know this means that it wasn't able to be fixed. And the customer, when he dropped it off, said it needed a carburetor. Well, weird enough, I would have never believed that I had a carburetor in stock, but I actually did. So it was flooding through like crazy, but it did pop off for me, so I knew it had fire. Changed the carburetor, and it never hit again. And so I worked on this thing for hours, figuring out that it would only fire sporadically. I went through, I changed the plug boot out and in. It worked for a minute, kept trying to start it. It got worse and worse, wouldn't start. I changed out the entire coil wire, which you have to remove the rewind assembly and go all the way through here, remove the coil. I tested the coil seemed fine. Something is wrong with this thing. Some of them have some electrical stuff underneath the flywheel, and I don't know if that's it or not. That would be my next step. I'm really about to just give up on this. I mean the carburetor alone lists for like $160, and to tell you the truth, the more I worked on this, I changed out the fuel filter and fuel line too. The more I worked on this, the more I wanted to say I had already worked on this one years ago trying to fix it and could never get it figured out. That's why I have a carburetor that I took back off, because obviously it's an older one that's been sitting around my shop for a couple years. So yeah, I think I've already worked on this, gave up. He took it to another shop, they gave up, and now I just wasted 6 hours of my life trying to fix it again. That doesn't make me very happy at all. But we did get a few more pieces of equipment in today that we got dropped off, and I do want to show you something because I have so many people ask me, how do I end up with all this equipment? Well, I just pretty much opened my shop back up just a little bit, and I've already got somebody gave me a $500 pressure washer. Check it out. Now the guy brought in 2 pressure washers. Both of them are Craftsman, but both have 2 very different engines. We were able to get this one fixed pretty easy. Now this is the same engine that goes on a lot of push mowers that has this plastic jet inside the carburetor. I mean, one of the first videos I ever made was about this plastic Briggs carburetor and this jet. I will leave a link right up above. So this one's good to go, but this one, it has issues. So a lot of times we dog on the plastic stuff that Briggs did to these new engines, but at the same time, both of these pressure washers that were brought in had a ton of water in them. I mean, both of them are like full to the max. And like I said in a few videos back, 70% of my customers that come in the springtime have water in their machines, in their gas. So the plastic one, we were able to clean out fine, clean the carburetor, replace the jet. This one though is rusted so bad. I think you could probably even see it from here. And we tried to sandblast it. It's not going to work. There's crevices all through the top of this that we can't get to. So to fix this machine, they do not have an aftermarket gas tank. We'd have to get them a new one, and it's like $95. So we called the customer, let them know that the gas tank alone was going to be $95. It's probably going to need a carburetor kit and labor, and he didn't want to spend it. So a lot of you think, why wouldn't somebody want to put in, $150 on a $459 pressure washer? I don't know, but they don't. And then I end up with it because a lot of people know it's just going to sit around their house and they're never going to do anything with it. Now, when they do give it to me, I don't charge a diagnosing fee because I'm going to be able to fix this eventually. Even though I don't have a gas tank for it, I'm probably going to end up with a unit that is exactly the same with a burned up pump or a bad engine. So guys, it looks like I'm open for business and I am pretty busy. So thanks again for tuning into Chickanic. Hopefully this video saves you time, money, and frustration in the future. If you haven't found me at Facebook, find me at facebook.com/Chickanic. Find me on Instagram at TheRealChickanic, or find me at Chickanic.com where you get your own t-shirts, hoodies, and long sleeve shirts. Thanks guys, and have a great day.